Welcome to the Marketing Agency Leadership Podcast. I am your host, Rob Kiszczuk. I am joined in person by Oliver Lopez. He's the founder and CEO of Struct Sales based in Stockholm, Sweden. Welcome to the podcast, Oliver.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How is Boston so far for you?
It is, as always, terrific. This is we had a small chat before we started, and this is my fourth time. Third time as a speaker at this event. I love inbound and everything about it, and I love Boston. It's kind of like a small version of New York, which I also love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about Struct Sales and what Struct Sales focuses on?
Sure, definitely. So I founded this company almost 10 years ago. I have a background in sales, so I would define myself as a sales rep more than anything else, even though I'm the CEO now. And we're a sales consultancy firm. And what happened a few years ago was that I kind of understood that the inbound movement and like digital lead gen options and possibilities were helping salespeople closing more deals and getting in face-to-face time with customers. So what we do is we actually do everything in between marketing and sales.
Okay.
So we help companies align, like everybody is talking about this, they have for like 5-6 years, but we align marketing and sales and we focus on the business we can help them generate. So we do inbound, like content marketing, we do design, we do social media, but above all, we take the money the customer decides to invest in marketing or sales and turn it into revenue.
Got it. And so you're partly in the lead generation business, but there's a lot that happens after the lead hits that still needs to be done right.
Exactly.
To get through to a sale. So you're primarily then in B2B clients.
Yes.
And some software, some not, or what's kind of the range of
software, IT, as long as it's B2B, complex products and services, long sales cycles, preferably large sales and marketing teams. That's where we want to dig in.
Got it. And so where is a typical client at in their own journey when they realize that they need you?
So going back a few years, they would be interested in inbound as a concept. Today, they've tried inbound, but they failed. So basically, they've done a lot of really cool stuff in marketing.
Yeah.
So they've been like doing a lot of social media, inbound content marketing, generating a bunch of leads, which never closes, and where the sales team actually they don't pay attention because the quality of the leads it's too low of quality. So that's the challenge they face today.
Wow, they must be pretty low quality for a salesperson to reject an inbound lead.
You would be surprised, because as soon as they accept the lead, they need to turn it into a meeting or like at least like an opportunity. So they prefer to reject because then they don't need to take responsibility.
So then are they just working completely cold leads, or are they trying to work existing? You said long sales cycle, so maybe they're just focused on investing in existing relationships rather than the leads.
We could have a podcast on sales reps and the way they interact or don't interact, like in the new era of selling.
Yeah,
that's another podcast.
Yeah,
but yeah, so if they don't feel that the lead is of good quality enough, they don't focus on it, and it's basically sent back to marketing, and so the inbound initiative obviously is seen as a failure.
And so you mentioned people have tried inbound and failed when they're talking to you. What are some of the common factors that people are failing at when they are doing inbound, maybe not so well?
Yeah, well, the alignment part is like everybody talks about sales marketing alignment, but what does it actually mean? To me, it's like they haven't really defined the ideal customer profile. So who are you trying to target? Like, is it every company in America, or is it like a niche focus of companies? Number two is, do you have an agreement, an understanding between marketing, sales, and delivery? Who's responsible for what? To what extent? Like, how many leads should be generated per month? What is a good or bad lead? Who in the sales department should actually convert the lead into a meeting and into a sales opportunity? So there are like And above, I did a talk a few years ago here at Inbound where I had a kind of a glossary. This is what marketing people say. This is what salespeople say. They mean the same thing,
Right.
but they use different wording. And this is where it goes south all the way because they don't understand one another. They want to, but it's kind of they don't succeed in doing that.
Mm-hmm. Why is it? It sounds like you're saying that there may be a challenge even in defining what is a marketing qualified lead, what is a sales qualified lead. Why do you think that is such a challenge to define? Or is it an incentives problem? Is it a vision problem?
Could be both. Incentives. We've done a few workshops, or we've been working with a few clients in Stockholm where we were based, where we actually we never took a decision, but we were kind of thinking about to maybe give marketers like part of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the end, if you close a deal and marketing has been involved, maybe they should have not like commission as a sales rep, but something like to elevate them and to show the rest of the organization that, hey, this is actually because marketers did a really good job. So that's another thing. And within sales today, incentives is one of the areas where I've spoken to a lot of sales managers where they just removed it. Like, this is a flat fee salary and this is what you get as a sales rep, because there are so many challenges in terms of, mainly most sales reps don't understand the incentives because it's too complicated. Like, they send you an Excel sheet and you need to calculate if you're going to get any bonus at all, depending on like 5, 6, 7 different parameters. So it's complicated.
It seems like a challenge of that would be that potentially, if you're going to more of a salary structure, the absolute best people in the market are not going to want to do that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if there's different cultural factors as well, but if someone can be that, President's Club, top sales rep, they might not want to be in a flat comp structure. How are you seeing acceptance of these ideas?
I mean, this has a lot to do with what kind of services you're offering and selling. The more complex the service, the more risk for the client, the more investment it's about, and the less focused the sales rep is actually on commission. So it all ties together. Like, the bigger the deal, the more focus is, because it could take like 18 months to close a deal. So would you like, hey, I'll give you $1,000 in commission if you do this and that. Hey, I'm going to be doing this like for 18 months with a team behind me, with marketing, with delivery, and whatever it might be. So smaller transactional deals, I think this is where like salespeople are more like, if I close this tomorrow, I'll get a commission for that, and I'll close 10 deals this week.
Right.
But again, it's pretty complicated because in some way you need to show people, and salespeople love money. So you need to show them that, hey, you've done good.
Yeah.
So here's a fat bonus check for you.
Right, and as you mentioned, like on a long sales cycle, you can understand, like, you can't be on a base salary for that long sales cycle. I know reps who are in with like Salesforce, Oracle, or in the education space, and I can't imagine trying to measure a sales rep in that environment, because the sales cycles, are they good, are they not good?
Exactly.
It's maybe harder to put metrics around it.
Yes, it is. And it's all about team effort again. I mean, how do you know if marketing like did their part, or sales, or whoever it might have been, like opening and closing the client? So definitely reps are closing the client, but there is a long way before they actually close. And a lot of that is digital and online, and has a lot to do with like your online presence and your like personal brand as a sales rep and like that.
Right on. So if we rewind a little bit, what led you in the first place to decide that Struct Sales should be a company? What made you say, I want to go start this?
Yeah, it's a good question. I worked as a sales rep, as a sales manager. I did I started with like selling stuff over the phone. Like just pushing products out. This was like 20 years ago. Then I moved into B2B, and then I moved into larger deals where I had Central America, Northern America, Latin America is my region. I speak Spanish, so one of the reasons why I had the opportunity to work in that region was because I spoke the language. And so I traveled a lot. I did really big, complex deals, and eventually I decided that, hey, I basically I don't want to go from sales to becoming a sales manager in a large organization, becoming the CEO and doing kind of the corporate ladder way of developing. It wasn't for me, so I decided, hey, why don't I help other companies to be better at sales? Because I think I'm really good at this. And also I had two employments with two smaller companies where the CEO was pulling one way and I wanted to go the other way, and he owned the company twice. And then I decided, hey, if I want to do it my way, I need to do it by myself and start my own company. So I founded the consultancy, which is today Struct Sales, and I started consulting in sales, like coaching salespeople, training salespeople.
And so, considering where you started in phone sales, I imagine one of the challenges you may see generationally from a rep perspective is, I don't know, is it a problem that people don't want to pick up the phone? Is it okay? Can they get away with it?
It is a problem. It is, and we're at inbound now, so it's like cold calling. Stop cold calling. Let the customer make the decision. And this is a mantra I've been pushing for many years. I do speak at inbound, but my talk is like challenge, change, control. It's about challenging the client. It's about making them change and control the process. So and picking up the phone is one of the it's the foundation in sales, because inbound is pretty good. Jim Keenan, he's going to speak here as well. He attended one of our podcast episodes in Sweden, and he said that I asked him, what do you think about inbound versus outbound? And he said, inbound is a gift.
Yeah.
We need to understand that it's a gift. It's a gift we've been given, but it's not the solution to every problem.
Right.
So yes, I see this every day, and specifically like younger reps, they don't want to pick up the phone because they're used to like, hey, you can use the phone to call people. No, they're texting and they're emailing and WhatsApping and whatever that might be. So no, it's a real challenge. And I think the ones who actually do this are going to stand out from the crowd even more.
So what still works? Because my phone will ring all the time. I'll tell Google to screen the call for me, so on and so forth. What is it that still works on the phone? How do you kind of? I mean, how are you reaching people? How are you getting them to actually, pick up?
It's a fact.
Stay on the phone.
Yeah, it's a fact that it's very hard to reach people on the phone today. Yeah. That is a fact. So what you need to do first is not only focus on the phone, but maybe like have 5, 6, 7, 8 different channels, ways into the customer. Like you could do LinkedIn, you could send text messages, you could do email, you could do phone, you could do like social media. So try everything. Like there are statistics today saying that roughly between 8 to 12, 13 touches. You need to try to reach a customer roughly between 8 to 12, 13 times before you actually get them on the phone and can speak to them. When you do get them on the phone, it's really important that you don't use a traditional pitch for everybody. And it's not about you, it's about them. And if you can for 15, 20 seconds, if you can tell the potential prospect customer something they are thinking about, the challenge they have, if you can refer to other persons, other titles in the same industry who you have helped with the same challenges, you might get a meeting.
Right. So you're talking the names and the sort of the references. That's building trust.
Yeah.
The speaking to their challenges actually helps you. Your talk title involves turning prospects into revenue by using emotion. You're actually showing that you can be resonant with their problems. And sometimes I think something that's underappreciated, you're still going to whiff on a lot of potential ideal customers are just not going to have your problem or not resonate. And I think it's easy to get discouraged if you get 4 people on the phone and 3 of them say, I don't have anything like that problem. Something I've learned even in sales, you underestimate how they don't have that problem right now, and they may completely ignore you now, and in 6 months their hair's on fire and they need you, and they're going to respond. And they didn't respond before.
Exactly, and this is where inbound and social media is very powerful because, I mean, instead of like calling them every single week for 25 weeks, you'll be posting stuff on LinkedIn. Your company will be posting things, connecting with the challenges they have, and eventually one of them or a few of them will be more open to discussing the challenge because of like maybe things happen like between when you spoke to them and today, which is like 3 weeks later or 3 months later, but they've been aware that you actually do this and help people with the same challenges on LinkedIn and on your webpage or wherever it might be.
Right on. So as you get into this talk a little bit, what are some of the other emotional factors that we should be considering when we're looking at prospects and getting them to turn that corner?
Exactly.
So, to work with us.
Yeah. So a shift has been like happening for the last few years, where B2C and B2B in many ways is pretty much the same thing. So by selling on emotion, what I mean by that is that you need to think of the customer as somebody you throw into a tumble dryer, and you make them go up, down, left, right, and feel things. Because if you present a spreadsheet or an ROI calculation, this is the entry point where everybody needs to do this today. If you don't have an ROI, you're not going to be able to even get into the door. When you've done that, you need to touch them where you need to touch them and focus on. And my take on this is, you should scare them more than you should praise them. So people when they get scared, like, so you're a sales manager, you have 10 salespeople. What would it look like if the development would continue as it's been doing for the last like 6 months, and you have to fire 3 of their salespeople? Would you then make a quota? No, even less than before. You would need to recruit somebody new, and everything. So what if you could turn them around instead? What would that mean to you? And just like paint a picture of a really bad future.
Man, can't say this way. What are you going to do? That's tricky. So you mentioned a variety of channels, and I think it makes sense. I think it gets hard to know what to do with all these different sales channels. How do I use LinkedIn? I have their cell phone number.
Yeah.
When do I text message? What's too aggressive or not aggressive on LinkedIn? You see people typing, "Oh, this person connected me," and then they just pasted 5 paragraphs of sales pitch.
Yeah.
How do you think about the level of aggression that you recommend, and does it vary somewhat with personal style?
It has less to do with frequency than content. So if you communicate value in every single interaction, you won't be perceived as aggressive as if you were pushing your product. So the challenge most salespeople and marketers, but most salespeople have today, is that they put themselves first and they think inside out and they push their products and solutions. So again, it happens to me all the time. I do, like when I do keynotes and talks on LinkedIn, I do this sometimes, like how to use Sales Navigator, for example, for salespeople. I have a really good hack for them. If somebody connects with you and they push their product like 2 minutes after you accept the connection, you just go to the contact, you choose remove, block, and then you're done. It's as simple as that, because they don't deserve anything else. Because if you haven't done your research, and if you're just pushing the same message to like 50 people, it's too obvious that you're just there for selling, and it's not working. So independently of channels, it's the content which is the main challenge we're seeing today.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you're talking about the content, when you say, and people say, and it makes sense to say, well, with each contact with someone, you should be adding value. But suppose you walk in the door of a business and they're looking for your help, and you're like, add value, and they're like, well, we don't know. 2 possibilities, right? They may feel like they have nothing of value to share, or they may feel like they don't have enough information about how to reach that particular prospect in a way that's meaningful. What do you say to someone who feels like they don't have the resources one way or another to add value at each step?
It takes maybe 10 minutes to look a person up on LinkedIn, to visit their website, to do research in terms of the revenue and the turnover of the company, and find out trends in the industry. 10 minutes. If you can't give a prospect 10 minutes, don't call them.
You're asking for more than 10 minutes from them, right?
Exactly.
Nobody does a first call. Very few, shorter than 10 minutes, unless they get hung up on. So,
Yep.
Right on. So, having done this for a little while, what are some things you've learned in the process of building Struct Sales that if you were starting fresh tomorrow, you might handle a little bit differently?
We're actually it's again, it's a good question because we've actually started fresh since the summer, and not that we've repositioned the company totally, but we do have a niche now that we didn't have before, which I should have done this like years ago. So what we do today is we've moved from, like, again, we do inbound marketing stuff. We're kind of an agency. I like to call ourselves a sales consultancy firm. We do sales training and coaching. But what we do today, we have you probably know what an SDR and a BDR is.
Absolutely.
Like a sales role.
Yeah.
So
these are folks that are banging the phones, banging the email.
Exactly.
Getting the leads.
Yes. And converting the leads.
Qualifying, yes.
Qualifying. So what we do is we help companies to actually convert the MQLs into opportunities and meetings with the help of an SDR. So what you can do now is you can get in touch with us at Struct Sales, and you could ask for, like, we do SDRs for hire. So basically, I'll give you one of our BDRs, SDRs for like 6 months, 2 days a week. And this guy will help you to set up your ideal customer profile, to define the service level agreement between marketing and sales. This is a salesperson with marketing know-how. So we place this guy in marketing, but it's a sales guy. So what happens? Well, let's say that you're in sales and you have like 10 customers you want to reach. You've been banging the phone, you're not reaching them, you're sending a lot of emails. You talk to the BDR, the SDR, and you ask him, hey, how can we reach these clients using marketing and additional stuff that I'm not doing as a sales rep? This BDR then goes to marketing and says, hey, I've got 10 potential prospects. Actually, I've got 50 because I have 5 salespeople, same kind of prospects. How can we get these 50 potential prospects into a campaign where we can market, like using account-based marketing, inbound marketing, content marketing, whatever, social media, to make them more mature, so it gets easier for me as a BDR to book the meeting with them. Because the thing is, the BDR, the SDR, is going to book the meeting for the sales rep. So what this does, it kind of bridges over the challenges between marketing and sales, because having a human being in between who's qualifying and doing additional qualification on the automated leads makes all the difference. And we have like metrics and statistics which actually shows that this is, I don't know why everybody isn't doing this. Probably because they can't find these people, because it's a pretty complex role.
It's like having a referee and a counselor in one person.
Exactly, yes. So this is also like if you hire one of our SDRs for like 6 months, we'll help you with the processes, with the recruiting criteria and everything. So after like 6 months, some clients, they don't cancel. They just, we've been with one of our clients for 2.5 years.
Right.
Same BDR, because it just works. It's like 100 meetings booked and $3 million in revenue, like directly connected to the BDR's work.
Do more of that.
Yes, definitely.
So you are based in Stockholm.
Yes.
What geographies are you active in?
Nordics, and we don't have any clients in the US now, but we've had 1, 2 earlier. So inbound makes it easier to like cross borders. But it depends. So the SDR, the BDR role can also be a remote role. So you don't need to be like based in the customer's office, but like 90% Nordic countries.
Okay. And that sounds, if you're not from that area, that sounds, that's simple. But that's how many different languages are you?
The Swedish and English.
Yeah. So you're doing English outside of Sweden.
Yeah.
Not kind of getting into all of that.
Exactly. We have a few really pretty large clients in Sweden where English works as well.
Okay.
But like normally Swedish in Sweden.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that can get complicated up there, and I know. Surprisingly, a lot of people from where you are, from that region, come here to Boston for inbound. I'm surprised ceaselessly. It's like, more people from Norway, more people. It's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I think like we're pretty like developed in digital marketing and sales in the Nordic countries. And tech
why do you think that
tech.
is? Because there's some, that culturally, there's some countries that
Yeah,
are a little bit more analog and traditional, even
exactly.
though they're very sophisticated countries.
I don't really I don't have any scientific answer to that, but I guess like we have, being a small country, we have a lot of like Spotify, Skype was founded, like we have artists like ABBA and whatever, like
you write all of our music anyhow. You write all of Taylor Swift's music anyhow, Katy Perry and all that jazz. Not you personally, but
exactly.
regionally.
No, but I think we have a pretty creative people, and it's something like, and we have darkness like 10 months per year, so people tend to work more than not work because it's cold and dark. Might be a reason as well. I just had a discussion yesterday with another HubSpot partner from another country, and we discussed. He was based in Florida.
Yeah.
You're in Atlanta, so you know what I'm saying. It's like cold and dark, and we just like 2-3 months during summer we have like sun and real summer, but the rest of the time it's like focus on working and producing shit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, sitting where you said, kind of at this juncture of sales and marketing, what is coming up? What's next in sales and marketing that you're excited about, either generally or particularly for Struct Sales?
So conversations like bots, moving more discussions and decisions online, even in B2B. HubSpot just announced that they're going to launch like a buy now functionality in calendar meeting bookings and email sendouts connected to like services as Stripe, like B2C focus, but moving into B2B, because I think that people wanna have as frictionless experience as possible when they do want to make a decision. So I think the trends are definitely making it easier to buy, lowering the friction, both internally for a sales team in the way they work, but also in the communication with customers. Having said that, I by no means do I think that the customer has all the answers and the customer is always right. I would say the opposite. They think they know what they need, so they until they meet with a sales rep who can actually make them understand that they're trying to solve the wrong problem. So I think that automation, bots, conversations online is going to be huge. But I also think that what we're doing right now, sitting like face to face, having a discussion, we could have been doing this on Skype or like. But to me, this feels more personal. We had a chat before, we said hi, we prepped a lot of different things, and so I think that's not going away in the near future. So I think that the ones who actually can combine automation and know exactly when to put a human being into the dialogue are the ones who are gonna survive.
Yeah, it ties right back into your talk, right? It's the chatbot is great. How do you use it to turn the corner into a real conversation? And I think that's a legitimate and direct question worth diving into, right? A lot of people coming in on a chatbot are very, very transactional. When someone's coming on your website, it's like, tell me this about your pricing. Do you have feature X?
Exactly.
How, in this interaction where they can get their answer and leave, how do you take that conversation to the next level? It's kind of working there.
Exactly. So basically, you need to know when to. Another thing with the chatbots is like you put a chatbot up, and everybody knows it's a bot. Yeah. But if nobody jumps in and has a conversation with you, and you're still discussing with a bot, you're gonna get like annoyed because you eventually, depending on what you're looking for, you want to speak to somebody. But from a sales rep's perspective, or a provider's perspective, as soon as possible, I mean, you could use the bot to qualify, like to disqualify people. Yeah. So like, what are you looking for? I just want to have a price. Okay. So I mean, same thing as in a sales dialogue, you could like use questions to disqualify. Like, how much would it cost me to work with you guys at Struct Sales? And I would say, what do you want to do with us? Yeah. And they would say, hey, I want to generate better leads. And if I feel that they're like, they think like investing in a tool is too much money, they're very immature, they don't have the money, I would say like, I would give them a figure which scares them away.
Yeah.
And then I would be like gone and focusing on the next potential prospect who actually is invested in this way of thinking. So as soon as possible, use the bot to disqualify. So the ones who actually answer in the correct way, jump on a call, like send them a meeting link, a Zoom link, have a 15-minute dialogue, and then move into the next phase of the sales process.
Got it. And so part of getting to emotion is getting to human interaction.
Definitely.
Makes sense.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, Oliver, when people want to find you and Struct Sales, where should they go to find you?
They can find me on every Twitter, Oliver Lopez. They can find us on structsales.se, which is where we share valuable content. I have a blog on oliverlopez.se as well. It's in English, actually. So I read a lot of blog posts on LinkedIn. You'll find me on LinkedIn by Googling my name as well. You'll find me if you Google.
Perfect. Well, Oliver, thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing some sales knowledge with us. And
thank you for having me.
I think it'll be helpful to everyone.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you.